everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pinkbucker Designs, and I'm going to introduce you to a new bundle from Stampin' Up called Butterfly Brilliance. We're going to make this card, but first let me tell you a little bit about the products. There's really some neat features about this bundle. The stamp set is one big piece. You'll see that when we stamp it in a minute. And then you have two sets of dies, one large die that cuts out that big stamp. Got some texture dies, and then of course some butterflies, just beautiful butterflies. Now this bundle will be in the upcoming annual catalog, which let's see, 2021 to 2022 annual catalog. That will go live in May 2021. But the other products that we're using are exclusive to just the next 2 months. And you can, here's the flyer, you can check all of it out online. There will be a link on my blog over to all of the products. My favorite part is this beautiful designer series paper. There are 48 6x6 sheets in the pack. Look at that, a rainbow of butterflies. This just screams spring to me. I absolutely love it. You know, after a long dark winter of 2021, it's nice to see some spring colors and get excited for the coming warmth of spring and summer. So there is the paper. We're also going to use the other sheet of paper, which I've already cut down, but I have it right here. It is called Naturals Specialty Designer Series paper. I'm sorry, I did not pull it out. I cut up the other piece. Let's pull it out and look at it. You know, I'm really surprised that this paper isn't sticking around longer because it is amazing. It's very light and soft, and it looks like wood grain, but it's actually paper. We're going to use that. Where'd my card go? We're going to use that just right across there. Now, I'm going to have 2 other videos on YouTube using this bundle, so make sure you hop over and check all of them out. All right, shall we get started? I think so. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp this background back here. And I think that when you have a large stamp, the best thing to do is to use your Stamparatus. It is a stamp positioning tool from Stampin' Up, and it just makes stamping large stamps easier. You don't have pretty big hands, but holding a big block like that with a big large stamp on it is difficult. But this makes it just really easy. So I'm going to set it down here, lay my plate down, and pick it up. Now I have a sheet of it's called Basic White now, Basic White cardstock. And we're going to stamp these butterflies in Calypso Coral, and then we're going to cut them down for our card. But as you can see, they're kind of light. So what I'm going to do before I stamp it on the paper, I'm actually going to stamp it onto my grid paper here. If you don't have grid paper, just put in, you know, some copy paper, whatever, scrap paper. We're going to stamp off the ink so we get a lighter layer of ink. That is the technique. That's what it's called, stamping off. And this is how I do it with my Stamparatus. So I'm going to ink it up with Calypso Coral. And then I'm going to stamp right there. Get off some of that ink. Now, there it is. That's going to help me place my paper perfectly, so I know exactly where to put it. And then I'm not going to re-ink it. I'm just going to lay it down and stamp it. And it's a lighter color. Not so, you know, I wanted it to blend in the background, and you can see the difference when we stamp off. Now, we're going to cut this down to, let's see, 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. These measurements will be on my blog. Make sure you hop over there. This is a Facebook Friday project that I do on a Facebook Live, and I have a PDF over there for you. All right, so we're going to cut that down, and we want it to be, let's see, what did I say? 3 5/8, which is 1 tick between 3 3/4 and 3 1/2. So we're going to cut that down, and it's going to be just, you know, I'm cutting off the edges so we get a little bit of all of it. All right, we'll cut that one, and now we need to make it 4 7/8, which is just right before, let's see, right there, right before the 5. All right, here we go. Isn't that beautiful? I wanted to add just a little bit more, so I'm going to take my Cinnamon Cider Dark Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to flick some ink. I want to just give it a little more texture. All right, there we go. I want it to not look so perfect. All right. Let's start putting all this together. Actually, before we do that, let's bring over the cut and emboss machine. Here's the die. As you can see, let's bring that stamp back over. The big die will cut out all the butterflies. So this is really fun. You know, if you are just going to sit and stamp for a while, one swoop through of your cut and emboss machine, and it will cut out a bunch of butterflies. Let's see, 6 butterflies. But another really cool feature is that it's going to cut out these on the paper, which makes your job even easier. I mean, look how beautiful these are. It doesn't require any stamping or coloring. Now, if I love to stamp and color, so sometimes I want to do that. But sometimes I'm just in the mood to get it done, right? You know, get it done fast. So this will do the trick. And you've got several sheets. Look at that. I just think that is so smart. You've got several of these sheets in one of those paper packs. The paper has a funny name. It's called Butterfly Bijou, I believe. Yeah, Bijou. Butterfly Bijou. Okay, now, because this stamp set doesn't have any sentiments, I brought in the Vine Design stamp set. We're going to use With Sympathy. Use whatever you need, you know, whatever occasion it is you need. And when I had it out, I thought, ooh, what if we cut one of these out and put that behind our butterfly? So that's what I've done. I've cut one out in white, and we're going to use that. All right, so I've got a basic white card base, and I have cut out a piece of Calypso Coral that is just a little bit bigger than our white piece. It is 3 3/4 by 5. See how that frames that nicely? Now I have cut out a little bit of our Butterfly Bijou Designer Series paper, and I'm going to put that right down here. All right, now here's that gorgeous Naturals paper. I have cut out a strip that is just 3/8 of an inch wide, so it's very skinny. So I'm going to put a very skinny line of glue and put that down. And I'm going to take my scissors, turn it over to the back, snip and snip. All right, there we go. Now, for this guy, 2 options. Before you cut him out, you could put the adhesive, one of our adhesive sheets behind the cardstock, and then when you cut it out, it turns it into a sticker. But as you can see, I wasn't thinking ahead. That's the only problem with the adhesive sheets, is that you have to think ahead. Sometimes I'm not thinking ahead. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow, and I'm going to lay that down. I just want about, what is that, maybe 2/3 of it. All right, so we're going to flip that over again, and we're going to trim to match the edges of the piece. Now you could use any of these butterflies. We could use the blue. We could use, ooh, I think the green is my favorite today. Any of them would go. Any of them would coordinate. I'm going to put this butterfly on with a dimensional. Okay. And we want to make sure that it's not going to hang off the cards, because then the card won't fit in our envelope. All right, so there we go. And I'm going to bring this over, and I'm going to also stack this on with dimensionals. There we go. Now the last thing we need to do is stamp our sentiment. So you're going to just get a strip of cardstock, basic white. I think that one might be just a little too skinny, so we'll start with a scrap that I have laying over here. And I save all my white scraps. You could always use them, no matter how big or small. All right, now we're just going to trim this down. I just want it to be a rectangle. So I'm just going to put it in my trimmer. And go all the way around the 4 sides. And this time I'm going to put this over here so I can really see where I'm cutting that. And there we go. You know, I don't like making sympathy cards. They're not my go-to. But when you need a sympathy card, you need a sympathy card, right? So it's nice to make them, have them around for those unfortunate times. All right, with sympathy, and I'm just going to put that down there like that with mini dimensionals. And there you have it, a beautiful card that is relatively simple to make. I hope you guys liked it. Make sure you click the link here on YouTube to go over to my blog and check out the PDF with all the information you need to make this card, as well as 2 other butterfly projects. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.